How's it? Welcome back. So here's a quick video in response to a recent comment I got in the channel from a new viewer. So welcome. And I'm actually in the middle of shooting a string of videos today in response to some recent comments and messages I've been getting. But being that this person is a new viewer and it happens to be right up my alley, I'm gonna bump this one up, post this video first, and then after this I'll get to posting in order the other videos that I was shooting today. So this person was asking, new to the channel, welcome again. I don't have insomnia necessarily, but I've always been able to pull all-nighters very easily. Any tips to help feel more sleepy and tired? And so I got a bunch. First of all, though, some of the more typical standard stuff. So one is you want to try to wind down before bed so you're not all like hyped up and stuff. And this is something that I actually have to deal with a lot, where I love my video games, and my typical video game time is at night after the family goes to sleep. So like I could be all sleepy and tired like 8-9 p.m. as we're putting the kids down to sleep, and then after that me and my wife are watching some show or something and I'm feeling all sleepy then. But then once that's over and I come upstairs to play video games after, I can get all hyped up. So then comes like 12 or whatever, 1 a.m. sometimes I'm lying down in bed to try and go to sleep, and lo and behold, I'm having a hard time. So try to avoid stuff like that. Also, if there are things that like stress you out, say like the news or something, try not to consume that information directly before bed, or even worse off in bed, like scrolling on your phone, looking at stuff that's going to stress you out. And then on the whole phone topic, you really should try to have like a hard set rule of no phones in the bed at all, which is something my wife could do better with. She'll be telling me like, oh, I had bad sleep last night or whatever, but then I remember like I would wake up to go pee in the middle of the night and I'd see her scrolling on her phone or something. So try to avoid that. If you can't avoid that and you are going to look at your phone in your bed, something you should definitely do is put the blue light filter on it. And so like all the phones nowadays have it built in, so like Apple, Samsung, and whatever. But I remember like back in the day, you used to have to download third-party apps onto my phone to do this. But this is essentially the setting where it turns your phone that like yellowish color, where it's blocking all the blue bright light. And so that's why it was put in there, because what they found out is that blue light, which looks to us like bright white light, like back in the day before modern times, if it ever was light like that, it was daytime coming from the sun. So it can mess with your melatonin production. And now with all of our artificial lighting, we're just getting bombarded by that all the time. So if you can, ideally, like once the sun goes down, you want to start cutting off any lights in the house that you don't need and kind of keep it dimmer or darker. If that just straight up can't be avoided, what you could do is you could wear these those blue light blocking glasses. That can help out there. Then when it comes to your room specifically, you want to basically try to keep it as dark as possible, like even to the point to where, say if you have like a bright alarm clock, dim that thing. Or if you can't get your room that dark, put on a sleep mask or something. Now personally, I like it to be super dark, like pitch black darkness, but I don't like wearing a sleep mask. So what I got is actually like an eye pillow. And so I like to sleep on my back, so I'll put this like over my eyes as I'm lying down. And it's actually super comfortable. Well, like this in particular, it's full of millet holes, and actually some just straight up uncooked rice because I didn't have enough millet holes. But I have a millet hole pillow, which is similar to buckwheat pillows, but just infinitely better because it's softer. It's also a lot quieter when you're lying down in the buckwheat and moving around. It's pretty noisy actually. So millet hole pillows are amazing. So when I got my pillow, it had some extra millet holes in there. So I put it into an extra pillowcase, but it wasn't enough. So I filled it with rice and it works perfect. So that's one thing. Hopefully I don't get any like creatures growing in there or something or showing up inside. That's why I gotta like zip shut so much. So that can be really good at keeping it dark. You also want to try and keep your room cool. And so I got this from Matthew Walker, who wrote this really popular book kind of a long time ago now, like 2018, called Why We Sleep. And he's a sleep scientist out of Berkeley, I believe, but whatever it is, one of the big colleges. And so what they found is that the recommended room temperature is actually 68 degrees. And now personally, I would like it colder than that if I could get it, right? But basically you want the room cool or cold, because when we're going to sleep at our typical time, whenever your circadian circadian rhythm dictates. And then as we're sleeping, your core body temperature is actually at its coldest, right? And then as you wake up and you're getting ready to wake up, your core body temperature starts to rise. And so whatever you can do to try and keep your body cool can go a long way. You could even, like, say, take a shower directly before going to sleep. That can help out a lot too, for multiple reasons. I might get into that a bit more later. Then also on the topic of keeping it cool, I happen to have like a blanket that is just like the best thing ever, where it has like these holes in it. I don't know if you can kind of tell that, but it lets the wind pass through, so it's very cool. And then I also found like the best pillowcases ever, where these pillowcases, they're super like smooth and soft, but they're also super cool. And so I'll link to some of this stuff in the video somewhere. So that goes a long way, at least for me personally. And at least for my blanket, like it's so important to me that when I go on trips, and luckily it breaks down pretty small, is like I can fit it in my suitcase, so I take it with me because it's that crucial for me personally. What else? Oh, okay, and then it comes to some of my more specific stuff. So things that I just find to be very useful. So I found it to be useful to have like a set routine, right? So when I get in my room to go to sleep, it's really just dedicated directly to me sleeping. So I'll do things like I'll set my bed up in a way so that when I come in my room to go to sleep, I don't gotta turn on any lights. Everything's set up perfectly. You know, I'm kind of weird with my pillows, where I like a ton of pillows set up in a very specific way. So I have like my 8 pillows set up just how I like it. I have my blanket on the side, right? Because say if you're the type of person who makes their bed every morning, looks nice and all that, but then when you go to sleep, you have to like pull the blanket off, maybe adjust your pillows, then lie down, pull the blanket over you. So I have it set up in a way so I literally just plop myself down in between all my pillows, have my blanket on the side, so I can just pull it up, open it, pull it over me, and I'm good to go there. Also, I even like plan out, because I will shower always directly before bed. Not so much for the whole cool my body temperature off thing. I just like to be as clean as I possibly can so I can feel like the blanket and stuff against my body. So I'll brush my teeth before I shower. Then I take a shower, come into the room with the lights off, throw on my boxers, hop in bed, done. Another thing that can be beneficial there, if you happen to have a significant other, is letting them know that, you know, like at least for me, I don't like to talk in the bed. When I'm lying down, it is strictly bedtime, right? Unless we're doing something else, you can always make time for that. But anything short of that, and maybe a few words here and there, that's it. Leave my ass alone. I'm gonna start going to sleep immediately. And then the last thing I'll say is that it can be good to have a routine to follow even as you're falling asleep. So for a lot of people who have a hard time falling asleep at night, you know, if they get tired in the daytime, they can probably nap really easily. But essentially what you want to do is you want to find some time where you know you can fall asleep quickly, and then as you're falling asleep, and quickly would be like 10 minutes or less, I would say. Then as you're falling asleep in those 10 minutes, really paying attention to how you're feeling, what your body, what position you're in, the thoughts and stuff that are going on in your head. And you basically want to get this blueprint, and then you take that blueprint with you to bed at night and you follow it to go to sleep. So as I'm falling asleep, I have a very set routine. I got all my pillows, everything set up exactly how I like it. And then personally, I like to meditate as I'm falling asleep. And then the good thing about that is, because your conscious awareness is intact, as you're drifting down, you can feel yourself getting sleepier. You know you're starting to hit stage 1 of sleep. Then you can transition that into hypnagogic meditation, where hypnagogia is this state we pass through every time we're falling asleep in stage 1, where basically your mental thoughts and images become visual, right? So if you can get to that state, you can then have a lucid liminal dream. And then one of the other cool things about that is you're basically working the same mental muscles in this liminal dream, in this lucid liminal dream state, that you will be working if you're lucky enough to get lucid later on in the night in REM, and you can have a classic lucid dream. So you know, there's a lot of little side benefits and stuff there. Now the whole hypnagogic thing, if this is your first time hearing about it, it's a pretty deep rabbit hole. I talk about that shit all the time. So go ahead and you can look at my playlist on YouTube. Is generally the best place to find this stuff. Have it broken out into different topics, and find something that says hypnagogia in there. Check that out. Tons of info. And also, if you have any questions, just, you know, whatever, let me know. I'm down to shoot videos and stuff on it. And look at my little notes here. I think that's mostly it. Yeah, thanks for the question. Welcome to the channel. And until the next video, keep your sleep practices legit.